opportunity. Sir, I would like to ask this question because you dealt with entrepreneurs and leaders. Have you seen any common values among those leaders, sir? Or most important values among those leaders?
Value, I don't know. The character-wise, risk-taking is one thing, which is kind of common. Values, I never thought about it. If I'm able to come out with the right answer, probably I'll call Ravi and then Natalie. Very good question. It's a very good question. I'm not able to answer that immediately.
No, you can tell them. You can tell us that the important styles that the leadership styles that they have, which would be like succeeding their ambitions.
So the values are defined as something people will not negotiate, irrespective of the cost and consequences.
See, Dr. Reddy is an excellent negotiator. As long as he is able to take one step forward, he will always negotiate. Okay, and I have seen it in a couple of times. We were having tough time in Sri Lanka when the Apollo Hospital project was coming up, and that was the first time when I saw someone saying no to chairman. Nobody could ever say no to chairman, and here is one the IDBI equivalent person there. In Sri Lanka, Colombo, that lady said, no, we cannot, we won't do it. And, for a minute, he couldn't understand what he heard. The first time,
he's not used to that.
He is not used to that. Somebody saying no. But then, he sat through the meeting, and then we could at least take one step forward. Then we came out. See, they don't come across as autocrats, but at the end of the day, they are autocrats. I don't know whether I am making a point. They will never make you feel that it is being done in an autocratic manner. They will ensure that you also kind of think on their ways, and then you do it on their way. But that's the ability to make things happen. But if they want to do something, they will do it. When I was very new to Apollo, there was one occasion when Mrs. Shobana Kamineni, she's a third daughter, who was looking after projects and pharmacy. She asked me to do something, and I found it difficult to do it. So I didn't know. So I went through that agreement, how to do that, etc. What are the provisions, etc., etc. And I thought it is impossible to do it. Then I went to the company lawyer, external advisor, and I asked him, this is what Mrs. Shobana Kamineni wants me to do it. I have gone through the agreement. I am not able to do it. Tell me how to do it. He also went through the agreement, and he said, it's impossible to do it. So happy. So with that thing, I went back to her after a week and then said, I have checked with Mr. Nilakandan, our lawyer, and he also says it is not possible. She didn't even listen to me. She pushed the paper, like this. She pushed the paper like this to me and then said, find a lawyer who says it is possible and do it. That was a great lesson for me. It happened when I was about 35 or so, Ravi, like your age, Ravi. That was a great lesson for me. If the leader wants something, better you do it. Don't try to bring your own knowledge and wisdom into it. You find a way how to do it.
Yes, sir. Great, sir. And my next question is whether these leaders have tried any unpopular decisions and succeeded, or regret for whether why should we have taken this decision or reconsider it, something like that, sir?
Yeah, see, whenever a capex decision is taken, Professor Damodaran, it is always met with some skepticism, because capex decisions are the most difficult in corporate. Companies go down because of poor capex decisions and not because of inefficient operations. Okay. So I had the opportunity to deal with the capex decisions. So when even before Delhi hospital started making 1 rupee in business, when the chairman says go and do the project in Bombay, that is an unpopular decision at that moment.
Yeah.
So that's how it is. I mean, leaders are bound to take unusual, unexpected, and at that time unpopular decisions. That's why they are there, which our professional can never think of.
That's with reference to their vision, which others perhaps did not see it.
Yeah.
It was clear to them, but it was...
Even in Delhi project, when the project was coming up, Dr. Reddy, see, we were talking about 150 crore project for a hospital. 150 crore those days is something like a Mount Everest, And even when it was for some reason we had to revise the project cost, etc. But he said, I want a linear accelerator which is for cancer, and that to the highest end. That one equipment is some 13 crores. We will find a location. It is not planned. The hospital is not planned for that. We will find a location to install it, and I want this machine. And you go ahead and do it. None of us was, including the daughters, were very skeptical about it. But then that was the beginning. After that, Apollo had several such machines.
Okay, so they run with vision and imagination, which goes so fast, and you have to run to catch up.
Yeah. You can't even see such goals, or you can't even see the picture.
Okay. Yes, Dhammadhar. Okay.
Yes, sir. Have you had any difficult decisions in your work experience till date?
Say it again.
Have you come across any difficult decisions that you had till date?
I mean, made by me or
made by you, maybe from your own.
I would say difficult decisions. Sometimes I have to deal with, if I have to ask a couple of people to leave the organization, that was very difficult for me. It may not be difficult for some other people, but it was difficult for me. So when I had to take decisions to ask people to leave, that was always difficult.
How do you handle when people who are not committed towards the work, sir? Maybe people who work under you, if they are not committed towards the work, how do you deal with them?
Luckily, I didn't have too many such people. I think the selection criteria in most of the companies were solid. And even like I said, when a couple of occasions when we had to ask people to leave, there was a lesson for us. We need to do a little more homework while recruiting people, etc. That's how it is. But luckily, I didn't have too many. Probably very rarely, but I would say that I came across people who were not committed.
Okay.
So maybe handful of people you fired in the past.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes, Dhammadhar.
Sir, if a situation where you want to give promotion to two people, one is highly experienced person or the other person is highly qualified, which person you consider him for promotion, sir?
If it is probably at the lower level, I would look for qualification. If it is at a middle and senior level, probably experience.
Can you give an example?
Yes.
From your experience, what actually happened? Some incident you can remember.
You always, it's the promotions and appraisals, these are quite subjective. However objective you may try to do it. Okay. So you look at what the new position is and, whether this person will suit there, etc. So whenever there is a higher position, you need, and I'm talking about at senior levels, you need some experience. Okay. I'm not able to think of quick real-time experience or examples to tell you that. But broadly, this is what it is. At the junior levels, it is qualification. At the middle and the senior level, it is experience.
Okay.
And in any of situations, suppose we are not able to meet our deadline, how do you do this?
There have been several occasions when, particularly in project, 100 things go wrong, and there are a lot of things which are not under your control, etc. I'm sure it is there for other functions as well. So you start preparing excuses. Okay, you want them sufficiently in advance. That's what I always do. Not at the last minute you go and then say that I could not do it or something like that. I kind of give. Inform them, not even.
So if it is a bad news, give it early.
Yeah. That's what I used to do.
Then it's
Suppose
not so bad.
suppose we give excuse to our boss, whether what will be the reactions from boss?
They all know that this guy is giving excuse. Okay, I mean everybody knows that game. They will ask you, what it takes to complete the project, what it takes to do it, etc., etc. See, when you go there, you are seasoned enough to tell them that because of this, it is not happening, and I have option 1, 2, 3. You go with that kind of thing, or what to do. So you always present option 1, 2. So they will then decide. They have the pressure of taking a decision then. That's how you come out of that problem.
I hand it over to Dr. Rekha ma'am.
Yeah.
Yes, I would like to ask you, as a beginner in the career, what are the traits that a person should have in order to be successful? Can you tell us from your experience in different industries, what were the important traits that a person should have?
For a professional.
Come to an
For a professional, you are talking about, not an
yes, sir,
entrepreneur.
yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes.
See, the professional, he has to be willing to learn, and he has to work hard. These are the two things that I would this thing. And come to the boss to understand problems, discuss problems as early as possible. See, I always say that I try to set expectations right for my boss, trying to lower the expectations. Okay, if possible, you try that same thing with me. That's what I tell them. But but everybody knows everything. Willingness to learn and hard work. I expect a lot of hard work. Smart work is not something is something which is not okay with me. A lot of people say that what's smart, I could never understand, or I could never accept.
Hard work is smart work. Did you say that?
Hard work is work.
Okay.
Don't be smart, Ravi.
I got it.
Sir, I have a question. You said that at the end of the day, whatever your boss wanted, you all had to do the same.
Yeah.
So what is the relevance of impression management there, sir? How are you? How can influence?
See, in the meeting, you can talk anything that you want, but once a decision is made, do it.
You have to do it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. See, with Dr. Reddy, we could convey our assessment, our views, etc. very openly. There was never a hesitation with Dr. Reddy. The same thing I would not say with the daughters. With the daughters, we will be a little more guarded, honestly. But with Dr. Reddy, we were very open, very open. But if he says do it, we will do it.
And so the discussion stops, then the doing starts.
Yeah. Once a decision is made, yes. The impression management is, see, I was always known as what you call a confrontationist, whatever you call it. Some people used to even call me a rebel. But, I was like that. I always was giving my views, contradictory views and things like that. So I worked always like that.
Dr. Rajini ma'am?
Sorry, Dr. Rekha, I don't know whether I am clear. Views are different, execution is different.
But you have still not answered her point about the impression management.
Impression management.
That's what the impression is. That's what I was trying to answer that. People will always tell me that I am a rebel. Okay, that's the impression that I carried. Okay, because I was very open. I was always very candid with my views. And one of my bosses called me Pachamalagai because I was sharp. That's how I was. But once a decision is made, do it. I was never bothered about being the S-boss type.
Is it like, just to extend what Dr. Rekha is talking about, did you ever or did you see anybody trying to manage what others are thinking about ourselves, so that do some lip reading and to that extent try to put it very positively, try to be very empathetic of what the other person is trying to say or trying to think, and alter your views or your statements accordingly. Is there some sort of thing which happens in organization?
Yes.
Is it a significant success factor?
No. It does happen, but very soon people can figure it out.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Can you give an example for that?
See, I mean, you are like that when you don't think deeply. Okay, you always had colleagues who are not great thinkers, who don't know the subject full. They will try to, in a way, say what the boss says. Okay, and very soon you can figure it out already.
Okay, okay. At a senior level, at least that doesn't sell for long.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
People see through it very
Very,
quickly.
very easily, easily.
So you would like to say this: you don't have to manage your impressions. You
No,
be
no. I
yourself.
mean,
That's
yeah.
better.
That impression management is a new word, new concept that she talked about. And I never bothered about it. Um, I never bothered about it. And I don't think my colleagues also really were like that. We were known for what we talk, what we do, etc.
Okay, impression management or even perception management is not your agenda at all.
No, 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 no. At least for
But
me, no.
okay, okay, okay.
I was just going to ask you a question. Uh, you just mentioned you were a bit of a rebel in nature.
Yeah.
Have you ever encountered any junior to you who displays the same qualities, and how do you deal with it?
Yeah, like with a junior, we'll include my son and daughter. Okay.
No, sir. Kids are different, sir.
No. Let me give you the example. Let me tell you
Yes.
what let me tell you what Mukesh Ambani said. I'm sure you also would have read that. See, Mukesh Ambani said we used to have dinner with my father, with our father Mukesh and Anil, and whatever he says, we will listen. And we never had the guts to tell our father, "Papa, you don't know," which these three kids tell him. These three kids tell him, "Papa, you don't know." To who? To Mukesh Ambani. When Geo is being, this man already had done one mobile, right, in early 2000, and he was very successful. And for some reason, he gave it to his brother, and then he wanted to redo that, and then he said, "Let's do Geo." And when he discusses something, these three kids who are kind of teenagers, they say, "Papa, you don't know."
So that is a by default answer. We get it from
No,
our.
see, I also learned these things the last 10 years, see, first 10, 15 years, you are okay. You are a junior, you are a middle manager. Everybody is like that. But the last 10 years or 5 years, you start treating your juniors as your seniors.
There were plenty of them like you, because maybe they were imitating you.
Yeah, I mean, see, at the end of the day, you have to go and ask them, "A PPT may, I mean, sorry, I'm getting into Hindi. This PPT has a problem. Can you please help me? So you better give them respect."
But get our work done.
Yeah, I mean, but they're nice people. Team building has always been a pleasure.
You
Yes.
had a good atmosphere where this, rebellion was very healthy at both sides. Your being rebellion was not, it was okay for Dr. Reddy, and others being rebellious.
For Dr. Reddy, it was okay, not for the daughters.
Okay, okay. Okay, okay, I got it. Okay. See, we spoke a lot about leadership. Can you also talk about the reverse of it, followership?
Sorry, your voice is not clear.
Can you also talk about followership, the reverse of it?
Followers.
Yeah. Tell me some interesting followers you had.
Maybe I never thought about it. Um, I don't. Sorry, I can't answer that offhand. I can't.
Okay, 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 okay. I mean, how good were you as a follower? You were a rebel.
Sorry,
How good you were as a follower?
as a
As a
follower.
follower, yeah. You were a rebel as well as follower. You had to follow somebody else.
Yeah. See, I always if they said let's do a project in Ahmedabad. Okay, that's fine with me. Okay, but in site selection and in size, etc., I always had my views. I will openly talk about such things. Okay, this is right. We can't do this, etc., etc. So I was always ready with my own views and never hesitated to talk about it in the group meetings, etc. When it came to execution, also, you need to take subsequent decisions, right? Ahmedabad hospital is fine, but what size, where, which are the departments, etc., etc. Whatever views that I felt strongly about, I always talked about them. And
Yeah, go ahead, go ahead. Sorry.
okay, so let me tell you something interesting. Once Mrs. Shobana Kamdeni told me for some project, I think Ahmedabad project only, I think. He said, Chuks, let's start working on finding a CEO for the hospital. I said, fine. And then she said, find someone from the army background. We already had two people from the army within Apollo hospital. They were in the CEOs of two hospitals. I said, I'm not happy with I told her, right? I'm not happy with the people with the army background. They seem to, they're not, somehow I'm not impressed. That's what I said. And she looked at me and then said, Chokes, I want army people. You know why? Because they obey you.
They're trained.
she said that they are trained to obey you, and they don't take. She said this. They don't take decisions. Whatever paper comes to you, they will follow up. They will push it to the higher up. Then the decision is made at the ministry level. Then they implement it. I said, what? So Apollo knew where to have rebels, where not to have rebels.
Okay. You are part of the think tank.
Yeah, kind of.
Okay. Yes.
That is clearly a female point of view, sir.
No, I'm not getting into that. I mean, don't pull me into that.
So also, your children's rebellion, you didn't tell.
Sorry?
The rebellion of your children.
Yeah.
The junior chucks, how do they treat you?
इसको क्या मालूम? You know,
it's very satisfying because I'm not hearing that.
It is always safe to assume, sir, they love us, they respect us, etc., etc., etc. It is always safe to assume. Safe, right?
Yeah. The moment a child is 12 years old, you come out of the system. The first thing that you understand is when you go out in the evening and then you ask the kid to accompany, he or she says, no, I'm not interested. Then you know, okay, now they have grown up.
But how do you develop leaders? In this huge experience, I'm sure you are involved in developing leaders from within. How do you go about doing that?
Yeah, some people who do things without too much of complaints. You know what I'm saying? See, for any project, it is easy to come out with problems. This is not good. That is not good. I can't do this. I can't do this, etc., etc. Project is something which is fundamentally built on unforeseen things. See, it's not like routine operations. There is a machine, you put the raw material and the product comes out. No, the project is always is a sum of uncertainties and unforeseen things. Okay, so when you give some minor work to somebody and then he or she is able to execute it without complaining or without this thing, and is able to take some assumptions and go ahead, that's when you start recognizing someone, okay, this person has got the potential to move forward, to go ahead.
Okay. So development is essentially a process of identification of potential and
Yes,
given the
yes,
chance.
yes. And then you start giving them more and more responsibilities, and then they happily deliver.
Okay, okay. So then their space expands. Like Dr. G.K. Rao said, if you do good work, you will get more work.
Yeah.
Okay, okay. So that's development, yes. Yes, Damodar, you have anything else to go?
Yes, sir. Sir, as a mentor, what would you tell to aspiring leaders? Because this particular program is watched by management graduates.
Yes.
Someone who wants to become leader. Okay. What kind of your suggestion or your comments to them that how can they become a good leader?
A good leader, okay, again, it's a very difficult question. There is no one single criterion. Um, a good leader is someone who is able to get things done um, without compromising on quality and time. I may too textbook, I don't know, but he or she should not try to be popular. And then only you can become a leader. You have to take unpleasant decisions and then go ahead. If you start taking decisions which will always be present, you can't become a leader. And you have to take within your own limited um, uh, boundaries some certain risks. You are not like an entrepreneur who can talk about crores of investment, etc., but within your boundaries, if you have to take some decisions, you have to take decisions. Once I opened up the roof of a plant, uh, to install a machine, I had to hire a huge crane, and the crane, some dynamics are there, and I had to open the roof of the plant, which nobody does. Um, you know, but we discussed. Our team felt that it is necessary. We went ahead and did it.
So, you mean to say that they have to take risk?
They have to take some certain risks. Yes.
Certain risk. Okay.
Take a risk if they have established sufficient reputation for themselves. Is that right?
Say it again.
They would take risk provided they have sufficient credit balance of credibility.
Yeah.
Okay. So if you have to look at, suppose if you have to hire people at the junior most level,
At which level?
for junior most level,
Junior most level.
and to be groomed as leaders, say management graduates you're going to hire, what is that you look for?
I don't think I look at leadership qualities at the junior most level. I don't look at it. I look at concepts. Like Ravi, last year when we interviewed some people, I always ask questions like, "What is the break-even point?" Fundamentally, whether you are okay with concepts. At junior most level, let me repeat, I am not really looking at leadership things.
But at what level you start looking at leadership?
After a couple of promotions, or at least after 2-3 years.
So if they are good executives and they show some promise, then you
Yeah.
look at.
Okay. Not to begin with. Never.
That is very interesting. Okay. So management graduates, you'll advise them to be strong in their fundamentals and concepts and executive
Yeah.
ability to execute.
If I ask what is ABC analysis, what is the break-even point, or what are the 4 P's, 6 P's, whatever they are, they should be able to answer me very clearly. That's what I would expect when I recruit management trainings. I'm not. I don't think that there are any real-life situations that they have gone through to ask them and explain to me what are the leadership qualities or experience that they have. See, but Ravi, sorry, I'm talking more personally, Ravi. But you and I have come across leaders within our own batch when we had certain games and or some other events organized. Who played a constructive role? Who played a destructive role? You and I know.
Yes.
But that is amongst the peer group. But those things probably a peer, an interviewer will not be able to evaluate at the time of recruiting management trainings.
So there is no point in trying to find out. That's your point.
No, at least I never tried. I don't know whether there is a point or not. I never tried.
Okay, but if you have a way to find out, you would be interested in finding out.
I don't think at the junior most level I am looking at leadership.
It doesn't matter. It can change.
It can change. Yeah.
But you look for those indications when they are on the job in the first
Yes,
1 or 2 years.
Yeah. Once they are in, first 6 months, 8 months, everybody looks the same. Then you start by giving them more and more assignments, difficult assignments, or there is a difficult situation. How somebody reacts to that is what differentiates.
Whether he was a team player, whether he takes initiative.
Yeah, initiative. Yes. Initiative is more important.
Able to solve problems. All that you look for afterwards.
Afterwards, yes.
So tell me, I mean, when you started off as a graduate, first, I think after engineering, you straight away came to MBA.
Right.
So your first job was after MBA.
Right.
And I remember you as a very, very studious and diligent person. And when did you get into this leadership mode, or you thought you were a leader to begin with?
Okay, that is an interesting question. Probably I thought that I can become a leader, and I am a leader material when I joined Apollo Hospitals, which was my third job. I was working with a synthetic fiber company for 3 years. Then I worked for a fertilizer company for 3 years. Then I moved to Apollo. By then I was in a middle level manager kind of a thing. So when I started looking at other peers and seniors, I knew that I had the capability and the potential to become a leader.
What do you mean by that leadership?
Knowledge and the ability to execute things.
Okay.
So when I say knowledge, it's by then it is not your own subject knowledge. You should know the business.
Okay, and you should know how to get more knowledge also.
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough. Yes, ma'am. Shall we? I think we have nearly taken all this time. Anything more you want to ask, Damodar? No, you
So
got to
unmute.
unmute. All that I will edit.
Probably this may be the last question of mine.
Yes,
maybe I can hand it over to Dr. Rajini also. She wanted to ask more questions to the sir.
Yeah, Chokes have time till 4:30. Okay.
Yeah. We have sufficient time, sir. Yes, sir. And in probably when we talk about recruitment, we think about a right person for right job. Okay. When we recruit a person, suppose we have chosen a wrong person for the job, maybe after he joins in the company, when we come to know that he is not fit for the job, how do we handle the situation, sir?
Okay, that has happened a couple of.
It happens in all. It happens in all industries, sir. Not only in your industry, it happens in academic industry also.
Yeah, it happens. So either you first attempt is to see if that person we can slightly change the portfolio. So within person A, B, C, whether we can shuffle around and then see if the person can deliver. You make an assessment internally on that, and then you can give him or her that opportunity. If it still doesn't work out, then you have no opportunity but to speak to the person and then call him, say it hasn't worked out.
Now, when we change his job little different from his earlier job, and we probably choose a person for a particular job. Okay.
No, I never did that. I always, I'm being honest about it. We never. In fact, a couple of occasions, my boss and I was a little junior that time. My boss and I have come across nice people. We recruited them and then we created positions. You get my point?
Okay.
We have done that also. See, when we recruit the people, it is not for a particular position that one looks at it. Particularly at the junior most level, it is management training. So you know that they can be in accounts or in purchase or in sales, whatever it is. That's a different thing. At middle level positions, if it is sales, for instance, either sale of product A or product B or geography A, geography B, or within sales function, sales support function, sales training, there are so many things that one can play around. Okay, it is not that he or she has to fit into that particular slot only. Of course, I never was senior enough to recruit a CEO. That's a different thing. I never did that. But at the number two hierarchy, number two, number three level, you still have an opportunity to play around.
Okay, thank God you have not experienced that, sir. And probably this same question I can put it to Dr. Ravithagan, sir. He is also experienced person in HR.
Yeah.
Suppose when we recruit a wrong person, how do you deal with that situation, sir? I mean, after selecting him, probably we have to report to our top management too. Okay. Suppose, for example, I can tell this way. Suppose I recruit a person for sales. He speaks well, and I felt that he is fit enough. Suppose he's not after joining. No, probably he's not enough to do the job. How do we deal the situation, and what we tell to our management?
See, okay, it is not my interview, but still I'll answer this question because I did this most of the time.
No, since Sar has not had that experience, I will just put this question.
At the junior level, we give them sufficient chance. 6 months we give this grace period for him to prove or disprove. And I tell these managers who are working for me or the operational people like Chokes, you make up your mind in 6 months' time. 6 months' time, if you don't, then don't come and tell me that he's not having the potential and things like that. So you decide by 6 months. And the risk involved at the junior most level is not so much. If we hire 100 trainees, maybe 2 or 3 will come into that kind of category. Then we have a process to let them go. But to be fair, and we should also seem to be fair, we should give them sufficient chance for these young people to prove themselves or disprove themselves. If there is an attitude problem, we get rid of them. If there is a performance-related problem, we give them a chance in some other departments and so on and so forth, and give them enough chance so that after firing, I should sleep properly at night. I would have fired more than 1,000 people in my life. Chokes is talking about, I did this for a living. So one has to be very, very conscious about what we are doing. And if it is senior level, all the more it is, the risk perception is very, very high. If you make a mistake at this president level, you hire the wrong guy, he will finish off the business. The business unit will get wrecked. So we, during the selection process, we are very, 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 very conscious. We look for consciously. We look for negative indications. Then sometimes we have a situation. One of the directors will interview the guy, and everything is looking very nice about the candidate and his qualification, experience. Everything is perfect, and he says, one director says, "Oh, I'm not comfortable. Something is wrong, but I'm not able to tell. I will still take this reason and not hire the guy."
Good.
Because the risk is very, very high if you hire a wrong person. But if we hire the wrong person, by chance we hire a wrong person, the decision has to be taken very quickly. If you my advice, my prescription for taking this bad decision is make up your mind very quickly and do this cessation or termination decision as quickly as possible, so that it is better for him and better for us also. Many times at senior level, if you put up with a wrong candidate for a long time, it's negative for both. It's bad for him. He may not be a bad guy, but he's bad for this organization. So we have to let him go quickly. Yes. Any more questions, Chucks?
Good,
Because he
good,
has another.
No, since why I asked this question is that no, probably this particular program is viewed by both management commerce students. They'll be going to industry, and suppose if they come across this kind of situations, and it's an indication for them how to go ahead. Thank you so much, sir. Because I can shoot questions to people like you. I mean, senior most people who worked very long time experience in industry. So that's why
So
I wanted
one more question possibly we can pose him,
I
because
think
yes,
Dr. Rajini ma'am is ready for asking question.
ma'am, your last question.
Just a last question, sir. So, any guy whom you have recruited have come under a bad scrutiny from the top level executive. So, what will you do? Will you try to protect him or leave him
Very
to his own devices to deal with the situation?
My first attempt would be kind of, I won't use the word protect, but at least try to figure out why. Okay, I can't say that I will protect him, but would give the benefit of doubt to the person.
Okay.
That's what the kind of course that I would take. I generally have been very protective of my team. I mean, it's both talked about in positive and in negative thing by others, but I am happy with that.
Okay. Okay, so you will definitely directly, indirectly interfere into the matter. Get to know the truth.
Yes.
But protecting the followers is one of the significant aspects of leadership, isn't it?
I think so, Ravi.
I think so.
See, and see, the one thing is when something goes wrong, you take the blame. The leader should take the blame. You should never, and that is another thing which distinguishes. I'm talking about professional leaders, which distinguishes that kind of a thing. See, when something goes wrong, if the person starts giving excuses that that person didn't do the work, this person didn't do the work, etc., etc., he or she is not the leader. If he says, okay, I have not done it enough and I need some more time, I need guidance on this, etc., that shows the willingness to learn and ability to grow. That's how I look at it.
Yes, sir. One of the true qualities of a leader.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
So,
Excellent session, sir. Thank you, sir. You have shared so much of your experiences with us. Has given a different insight into the healthcare field, actually, what you can say.
Okay. Thank you so much. It was a
Thank you.
pleasure interacting with all of you. Thank you, Ravi.